Hello, everyone. It is May Day. If there's ever a day to talk about work, dignity, and the people who keep this city alive, it's today, International Workers' Day. Now, for some folks, May Day comes with a lot of baggage politics, ideology, labels, communism, whatever. But strip all that away, and what you're left with is something pretty simple and pretty American respect for people who get up early, work hard, and keep the lights on for the rest of us. Yesterday, you might have seen the pictures. I posted a couple on Facebook and the Twitter. I stood at City Hall with New York's strongest, the men and women of Uniform Sanitationmen's Association, Local 831. Great guys. Michael Bove, huge listener. He's probably going to be listening to me tonight on the radio. The president, Dennis, another great guy. And I've got to tell you, the energy was something else. Huge turnout, real passion. Three or 400 people waiting outside trying to get in to City Hall Plaza. And this was not manufactured, not staged, just working people saying, treat us fairly. And here's the thing, you don't have to agree with every union position. You don't have to love every rally or every demand. But if you're being honest, you know this. Sanitation workers earn every penny they get. These are folks who work in conditions most people would never sign up for. They're out there in the freezing cold, in the sweltering heat, in the middle of the night, dealing with everything from broken glass to who knows what's in those bags. They're breathing in dust, fumes, and debris most of us don't even think about. And that's just the garbage they pick up at my house. And they show up anyway, day after day, year after year. And I think that's the kind of grit that we as New Yorkers, we as taxpayers, me as a council member, need to be celebrating. And what they're asking for right now isn't radical by any sense. It's not extreme in the least. It's not some pie in the sky, ultra left wing demand. They're asking for the return of a 20-year pension and an end to the Social Security offset. In plain English, they want to retire with dignity without having the benefits they've earned chipped away. To me, I don't think that's a left-wing idea or a right-wing idea. I think it's just about fairness. You know, I represent a lot of folks who wouldn't exactly describe themselves as pro-union activists, but they believe in a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. They believe that if you take on a tough, dangerous job, the deal you were promised ought to be the deal you get. This came up repeatedly when we were having the discussion about retiree health benefits. No tricks, no fine print, no moving the goalposts halfway through the game. And I think that's where a lot more common ground, there's a lot more common ground than people realize, because supporting workers doesn't mean you're against business. In fact, strong, stable jobs are what make neighborhoods work. They're what allow families to buy homes and send their children to school, to support local businesses and keep communities strong. And that's not anti-capitalist at all. I think it's Bobby Eustace from the fire department union, the UFA, who always makes the case. And I've wanted to steal this, but he says it so often that people are going to know he said this. He said, civil service really is the gateway to the middle class. Yesterday or the day before, I talked about how the specialized high school exam could take one generation of immigrants from poverty to wealth in one generation. Civil service can take one generation of immigrants from poverty to the middle class in one generation. That's the backbone of a healthy economy. And at the same time, I also think it's important to say this. With rights, there are some responsibilities. Taxpayers deserve accountability. They deserve efficiency. They deserve to know what the services they rely on are being delivered and being delivered well. And from what I've seen, sanitation workers hold up their end of the bargain. New York is cleaner, safer, and more livable because of them. So on this May Day, maybe we put aside some of the slogans and just focus on the people. The guy on the back of the truck before sunrise, the worker at the garage dealing with diesel fumes, the families who depend on those paychecks. Let's make sure we're honoring the value of work itself, because at the end of the day, it's not about politics, it's about respect. And if New York is going to keep running the way we expect it to, we better start making sure the people who do the hard jobs know that they're valued, not just with words, but with real, tangible fairness. And I think that's something everyone ought to be able to get behind. Happy May Day.